Hello everyone, this is Zeeebo and welcome to today's AFK journey video. So a few days back I released a video on how to counter Igor because Igor is one of the most annoying unit which I think most people will have an issue for, and apparently a lot of people have an issue with Vala as well. I can understand that because Vala is the banner up unit, so there will be a lot of spenders or players that heavily commit their resources into Vala. But let me tell you this, I think Vala is a really niche min-max unit in a sense. This unit is really powerful if you go all out on her, but she's not all that powerful if your enemies don't bother max her out. So that's one thing I got to clarify. And secondly, in the Igor video, people actually asked me which unit counter Vala, and I'm like, did I say that Igor counters Vala? So I'm not sure whether or not you guys saw my video. But Igor is actually one of the best counter to Vala. Let me explain why. So Igor is immune to burst damage. Igor has unlimited lives as long as he has tombstones on the battlefield. And Igor is a Griefborn unit. So he takes less damage from Vala, who is a light bearer unit. So three factor put together, Vala just can't kill a Igor if they're on the same level, right? Obviously, you can't really compare like a Paragon Vala to a Mythic plus Igor, right? The Igor's not gonna tank it because the Vala just has way too much stats. But on equal battleground, Igor is the perfect counter to Vala. But other than Igor, in today's video, I'm gonna suggest some of the strategies I use specifically in Arena on how to counter Vala on the defense. On the offense side, Vala is actually a really powerful unit because on the offense, you can position her so that you can abuse her targeting mechanics to the best ability. But before that, let's talk about her kit before we showcase how we counter, what I will do and what I'll suggest, right? So first of all, ultimate swift shift. When Vala casts a skill at an empty tile, she jumps to the tile, switches to the Sky Blaster mode, which is the range mode. She prioritizes shooting the marked enemy, dealing 450% damage and stunning them for 4 seconds. So when she is attacking the enemy by shooting, then she will just continuously stay at the backline and shoot. So she's a ranger when she's in this form. When Vala casts a skill at an enemy, she switches to the Sky Sword form. She rushes to the slash enemy and deal 420% true damage, and all her normal attacks becomes melee attack. So in auto battle, Vala switches to the sword mode and prioritizes the marked enemy if their HP ratio is lower than 50%. Otherwise, she switches to the Sky Blaster mode to shoot the enemy and remains at a safe distance. So in terms of an arena setting, right, knowing this skill is important because this will determine whether or not she goes into sword form or the gun form. The sword form deals a lot of damage because it's true damage, so you can't really like stack out a lot of defense and then try to reduce damage from there. At the same time, if you take a look at the level 2 and level 3 stats, right, if you take a look at the level 5 stats, in sword form, Vala deals additional damage to enemies with a HP ratio lower than 50%. Damage dealt equals to 12% of the target's lost HP up to 300% of Vala's attack. Right? If level 4 in Sky Buster mode, which is the gun form, he deals 45% more damage to enemies with HP ratio higher than 50%. Okay, so the thing about this skill is that it's actually very hard to determine, you know, like when your Vala's gonna do like gun form, when your Vala's gonna use the sword form. But in terms of an arena setting, most of the time, if Vala do switch to the sword form, right, chances are you probably lost the game because in sword form she deals so much damage that she will just finish off your backline really fast. And because if you let her come to your backline, she basically does her assassin job really well. That's her role. And that's how she do it. She starts to bring down your unit's HP by targeting them, you know, marking them, and then going in for the kill, going in for the sword mode and doing like a ton of damage. So that's how the ultimate works, and something you might want to know, right? Later on, I'll explain how you can play around it, and then, right, try to abuse to counter her. Second skill, notice beforehand. So Vala sends a notice to mark the furthest enemy when the battle starts. She attacks the notice enemy in priority, absorbing 90 energy for each hit. When the notice enemy is defeated, Vala sends the notice beforehand to the furthest enemy if she's in Sky Buster mode, or the nearest enemy if she's in sword mode. So this is the targeting mechanics that we are talking about, right? So at the start of battle, she'll basically target the furthest enemy, mark them, and then she will just target them. And when she's attacking them, she sucks energy from each attack. So whatever units get marked by Vala, chances are that unit is pretty much disabled in a sense because the unit probably won't be able to use their skill unless you have a way to push through the energy deficit that Vala applies on the unit. So that's number one. Number two, this unit that is often targeted by Vala basically will be the very first unit to die, will be the very first unit to sort of be brought down by her. So one way you can play around this is when you're going on the offense, try to let the tank take the notice beforehand, because a tank is tankier, the tank can buy more time before Vala goes into sword form, and at the same time the tank's energy is not that important because the tank's role in most teams is to absorb damage. So use a sponge to absorb damage from the assassin. So that's how you do it in an offensive manner. There's no way you can do it in the defense side because your enemy will decide where they put their Vala. So that's for the offensive side. So later on I'll show some practices, you guys can see it for yourself. And then the third skill, Checkmate. So in Skybuster mode, Vala shoots an exclusive anesthetic bullet, dealing 230% damage to an enemy and reducing their haste by 60 for 8 seconds. In sword mode, Vala launches 3 consecutive strikes to an enemy. Each strike deals 100% damage and stuns them for 1 second. So further increase in level increases the damage, and this is where her damage output is really insane, because if she goes into sword form, it's 115 times 3. That's like an ultimate level kind of damage scaling. And even in the gun form, the damage number is nothing to be scoffed at, 260%, with the ability to reduce haste up to 8 seconds. So Vala as a whole is just a really good like a sniper unit, like very powerful, worthy of her first banner appearance. And this is the reason as well, right? So massive burst, the ability to mark target, and the ability to switch between gun and sword form. So what happens in battle just off these 3 skills is if your teammate is low, she'll go in and go sword form and then mark another ally, right? If the ally is not low on HP, she will just go back to gun form and then shoot from a safe distance. So very powerful there. And then let's take a look at her hero focus. Increases attack during battle, and she gains extra attack every time a non-summon enemy is defeated. So this is the steamrolling skill, right? So once she start finishing off one target, she gains attack, and then she's gonna bring down the next target slightly faster. So that's where she steamroll. And then the EX weapon, Night Maneuver. When a marked enemy is defeated, Vala hides in the darkness and can only be targeted after all other allies are defeated, increasing her movement speed by 60% and haste by 80%. So increases in this level, increases the ability movement speed, as well as provide her with the increased HP recovery. So she's able to restore 40% of her max HP when a marked enemy is defeated. Insane. Like basically when she starts killing off the first unit, Vala is pretty much like buffed up, and then that's where she starts to steamroll. So you guys can see where I'm coming from, right? You guys can see how Vala's kit work as a whole. So next, I'm going to offer my suggestion, how I tackle Vala and showcase the fight. Although I might not win because Vala is not the only factor in the team setup, right? But I'll try to explain as best as possible what's the rationale of what I'm doing, and depending on what my enemy feels on the other side, offer the suggestion that I have. So if we continue, let's start. We have an enemy with Vala over here, 212k power. So this guy is clearly higher power than me with a level 7 confining spell. Okay, so the guy has a Vala at Mythic Plus with EX weapon 1. So he will have the very first ability. So this is when the marked enemy gets defeated. Then what happens is she will start steamrolling. So if you take a look at this matchup, if I do the offense, you will see the mark on the unit that she will be targeting. So she's currently targeting OD, and this is the slot that she'll be targeting, right? So whoever I shift in will be the target of choice. So like I mentioned earlier, one of the easiest way to counter this is just to slot in a tank, right? A tank is basically a unit that takes damage. So I could obviously use my dear Entendra over here, because Entendra also has the ability to shield the frontmost ally target, which is Torrent, which I want to stand on the front line. So I'm running my strongest team right now in terms of power, right? We are losing a little bit of power, but I think I have OD that can snipe off the targets really easily, although I might lose to a Ciccia. So I'm thinking, should I be running a Ciccia to counter him? But I don't think so, because my Ciccia is really weak, as you guys can see, really low rank. So I want to be as high rank as possible. I want my units to be as beefy as possible. So I'm going to run this, right? So to counter the artifact, which is confining spell, number one, I can choose to use a lightning spell. So later on, I'll have an artifact guide up, but I'm going to just show you guys how this thing works. And confining spell targets the last 2 units. So if you base on the placement over here, Antandra will be confined, OD will be confined, but because OD is control immune, right? So I'm not afraid of the confine. So I want to burst him down as fast as possible before his Rowan Cecil even do anything. And since Antandra is gonna like sort of be targeted by our dear Vala over here, right? I'm just gonna leave her here. She's gonna get healed by Smokey's aura, and then Koka is gonna provide her with some heal, and that will be how the battle turns out. Can I win the battle? Maybe, maybe not, because the opponent has two really strong units. One is the Mythic Cecil, and the other one is the Supreme Vala. So this guy probably spent. And with that, then let's just give this battle and try and see whether or not I can break this formation. Let's go. Okay, so as you guys can see, the Antandra is gonna be targeted, but the Antandra will be within the healing aura of Smokey. Unfortunately, I forgot to factor in Tamasia. Oh shit, that's really, really bad. I totally forgot about Tamasia. Okay, so Tamasia disrupted by Smokey's heal, unfortunately. So maybe Smokey, or feeling Smokey might not have been the best choice. Or rather, I think the positioning of Smokey might not have been the best choice, unfortunately. So, that's that, right? That's just part of arena. So I misplay there, okay? So let's see whether or not we can find another Vala. Okay, we have another Vala user over here. So this time around, this guy is slightly similar power to me, so I'm gonna still use my arena runs to demonstrate. Okay, I'm sacrificing my points for you guys. Do remember to like and subscribe, okay? Okay, so next, the other way I can do this, right? What happens is that I can put Antandra here, and since this guy is using an Iron Wall spell, I'm gonna use my AoE Starshot spell to counter that, because Starshot spell is actually pretty decent in a sense. Starshot spell deals AoE damage, so it sort of bypass the single target buff on the tank, because I know the Lucia is going to be goddamn tanky, so I'm not gonna bother fielding like massive burst or quick burst. But one thing I'm afraid of is actually the Heroine and Rowan combo, because these two units together is actually really, really sick if they do get the cycling going. So this time around, instead of using Antandra to tank, I'm using Torrent, because I don't think Torrent can do much on the front line. But Torrent also is a good answer to draw damage from Vala due to the factional bonus, as well as him being a tank. At the same time, Torrent does so many things, right? Debuff, multiple lives, and ultimate. Although this targeting will sacrifice some of the ultimate damage, but I think it's fine. As long as it buys enough time for my team to cycle through my skills, it should be fine. I don't think there's any way he can disrupt Smokey, right? I don't think so. I could do this because Lucius will actually do a pushback on Antandra, and then yeah, I don't want Coco to be pushed in front, so Coco here is okay. I think should be able to keep him safe, and then Torrent will be the one drawing target attention. Okay, so I'll decide this. Let's start. Okay, so I'll go with one time. So over here, Torrent is running all the way to the side. Lucius did push Antandra back. I think there's no point competing with this guy on this end, because this guy's tank is just so damn powerful. Right, with the Iron Wall spell, we are not finishing off the front line anytime soon. So that's really nice. As you guys can see, the Vala flew to our side, so my OD is able to apply an ultimate on her, which is amazing. But Heroine's ultimate is going up, so Cecil's ultimate is up, but luckily for us, we have Coco's ultimate, so I don't think we would be taking that much damage, because Coco ultimate is massive damage reduction. I think I have Antandra's ultimate up as well, so here's my very first proc of my Starshot spell. Really, really good stuff. There's still poison going on Vala, by the way. So as you guys can see, my Torrent's ultimate is not coming up, but it doesn't matter. Oh, it's coming up. So it's just coming up, right? But I think it's going to pass away. Oh, wow! Look at that! Insane counter kill over there. Really, really good. Okay, so I think we can speed this up, because the guy doesn't have any more backline, and the guy doesn't have any offensive power. So all I need to do is just cycle through my skill, and then we will win from that. So this is how you do with Iron Wall spell, and this is one way you can do with Vala. So the other way is obviously using Igor to just tank Vala, because there's no way a Vala can finish off Igor. Okay, so guys, in the previous recording, I actually wanted to showcase how Igor can counter Vala, right? But I totally forget that on my free-to-play account, and then my free-to-play account has no Igor, so unfortunately I cannot showcase that. But you guys understand the rationale, right? Basically, I think you use a very tanky Graveborn unit to sort of draw attention, and then hopefully the other 4 units in your team can sort of buy time for you and do what they want from there. So there's that. Or you can just simply stack the Vala with sheer power and then win from there. Okay, for the last attempt, right, I'm just going to show you guys, right, since I am close to upping my tier because I lost a few. Another run, right, against Vala. So, this guy got no Vala. Okay, this guy has a Vala. So this guy's comp is pretty decent. Rallo, we're going to take on Rallo this time around. So if we take a look at this setup, right, it is very similar to whatever the previous guy was running. Okay, pretty standard. Lucia's gonna run back here. I don't think I want Coco here though, unfortunately, because Coco's gonna be like the main front, and then Torian will actually move towards the left side. So Torian will actually block off Lucius anyway while buying time for my units. Should be okay. And Tendra will tank on the front line. But he's also using Starshot spell though. That's the tricky part. And he has Rowan, so his ultimate will actually come out faster. This year's gonna root a lot faster. Hopefully I get my ultimate off. Hopefully I get 4 ultimate off, so I get the debuff from Starshot spell, I guess. Okay, so this will be the plan, right? Use a Grave Bond to tank. Either that or maybe I can swap somebody inside here. I want to swap Rowan though. The thing about my OD is because he's not Mythic Plus. If not, he will make things a lot easier. Okay, I'm just gonna sacrifice my points and see whether or not this comp work. Okay, let's start. Okay, so same thing. Torrent's buying attention, blocking out Lucius, so my Smokey is not interrupted in the fight clouds. Okay, really good. Okay, Rowan starts charging up. Oh, but good thing for me because the Rowan is very front. I think the CC doesn't get charged up in the ultimate. So I think it buys enough time for 4 of my units to use the skill so that my Star Shut spell kicks in. Really good there. Really good. So CC uses the ultimate. The guy also get the debuff off as well as the damage. I haven't got my off, unfortunately. But I think OD is going to use the ultimate next. Okay. So OD uses the ultimate on a summon. Unfortunate, but he got the debuff off. So Coco uses the ultimate. So I think my team is safe. Massive damage reduction. I need our dear Smokey to come online in terms of the cloud heal. Really good. 1 unit down already. So Torrent is still surviving well. He hasn't even used one of his lives yet. And then we are throwing out ultimates from OD, and OD is gonna carry the game. Pretty good. I think we won from here. I guess hopefully we don't get reverse sweep by the CC. Hopefully. Okay, the ultimate is here. Is it? Okay, shit, I might have spoken too early, guys. I might have spoken. Okay, Coco uses the ultimate. OD throws the ultimate, brings down the summon. Okay, can you throw the ultimate at the CC so that... Okay, we get the AoE up. Okay, okay, but then Vala is dead, okay? Vala is dead. Amazing stuff there. Wow, this CC being alive is problematic. But I think we are doing fine. We're doing fine because Coco's ultimate is coming up again. Really nice. That's it. Okay, so we won the fight. Okay, amazing stuff. Okay, so yeah, this is how I will deal with Vala in general. At least with what I have on a free-to-play account. I guess you guys can mimic what I do because most of you guys should have Torrent. If not, Igor is the best answer. If not, use another tank that can, you know, sort of buy time for you. Use another tank that can redirect attention and may not need their ultimate that much. Maybe a beefed up Antendra if you have her. Just don't put a DPS in the face of Vala. They will just melt. Okay, take note of that. Hopefully you guys have an amazing time dealing with all the Valas in your bracket. Thank you very much for tuning in. Do remember to like and subscribe to see more. I'll see you guys again in my next video. Bye guys.